Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the quarterfinals here at the Blue Otter League in the IBS division. I am Bickle, once again joined by Goferino, as we are bringing you Event Horizon Kaizen taking on the defending IBS champions of TD Syndicate. How you doing today, man?
Um, I was having to double check my chin because I made enchiladas for dinner, so there was a lot of enchilada sauce on my face. I gave it a quick wipe beforehand, but you know how it always sticks. That's unrelated to tonight's game though, because it's definitely going to be a banger. We saw last week that we went the full distance, so we know all these teams here gunning for that final spot. This is still quarterfinals, so you got semifinals ahead of you before the grand finals. However, these teams are going tooth and nail.
Absolutely are. Last week, neither of these teams, of course, playing as they are the 2 and 3 seed, respectively. Kaizen, the 2 seed, coming out of Zon, as Syndicate's the 3 seed out of Piltover. But we're going to be jumping right into game number 1 drafts. Kaizen, with side select, have opted to take us to the blue side for game 1, as they are banning away that Heimerdinger, a flex pick between Helium Bamboo, but more recently has been something Lemon Sap has very much preferred.
Yeah, you never want to deal with that nightmare of that flex because Heimerdinger, definitely a strong champion right now. Even in pro play, we are still seeing some Heimerdinger support, even after all the nerfs and all of the tweaks in bot lane. And I mean, with these guys who made the champion, definitely a power pick you want to take off the board. The Jinx, just an all-around generalist pick right now. Not too surprised to see that taken off the board. It's like, hey, what do we ban? I don't know, let's just ban Jinx. You know, that's a good all-around pick. Most ADCs play it. You're limiting their pool. Bada bing, bada boom.
Definitely Tarek now taken off the board, something very much targeted at Helium Bamboo. If I remember it, looking at their solo queue data, they have like an insane 70 or 80% win rate across that champion. But the response from TD Syndicate is going to be targeting the support pool as well, as right now it is the Thresh hover heading in towards a ban. Of course, Thresh makes it so that immobile AD carries can play so much safer, so much more aggressive, just having that Dark Passage available. And ever since the cooldown buffs came in for the Thresh hook, it's just been so difficult to deal with. But Kaizen, last ban, targeting Lemon Sap again with the Vagar.
Yep, you could argue that this is a triple support ban here. Viger support, not completely unheard of, but I'm stretching that a little to make that a little fun factoid. Amuma, another solid champion we've seen down here in IBS. I believe we saw some pretty good, successful games on it last week, if I'm not mistaken, Pickle. But that does mean what comes through is going to be the Sever. Interesting. Not something we see a ton of priority on right now, but it is still a fairly solid pick.
And the response instantly going to be that Zeri for Vampiric Narwhal was the recipient of the first pentakill in IBS this year with that pick, and is paired up with the cat. All right, this bot lane's not going to be any fun to watch. Zeriumi says we're going to scale for late game, and that's about it. Sivir as well, great with the wave clear, but if we want action, we're going to be looking elsewhere across the map. That's just a matter of fact right now. Kaizen likely going to respond with their own support here, as well as what is likely going to be the jungler. But we'll have to wait and see. Do they match enchanters, or do they want more engage? As it's going to be the Renata Glass paired up with the Sivir.
So maybe a little preemptive on that Renata. Typically, you'll see the Renata picked into very heavy dive bot lanes or very heavy dive compositions because that hostile takeover ultimate is just the best tool for saying, hey, you guys are diving us. Take a chill pill. Don't really have to worry about the Zeriumi diving you too much. They will definitely get in range of it. We'll definitely see some action. If you are able to land that handshake onto this Zeri, you do get a 2-for-1 deal in that CC department.
Yep, and both teams going to be answering the mid lane department here. As we start off with Syndra for Spat, it's responded to by Oriana for Lemon Sap. So 2 ball handlers coming into the mid lane.
They do be ballin'. They do be ballin', and mid lane is their core. I wouldn't say either of them really has a slam dunk, but if we want to keep going with that, we'll see who gets the slam dunk in this lane. It does mean, though, that top lane and jungle for both these sides are going to be up on the chopping block. We already have the Amuma taken off the board. That is a very prominent jungler. And the Hecarim also being taken off the board. I know that's been creeping up in prio everywhere this past patch or two, Bickle. So we'll see what these teams want to prioritize in terms of pinching.
Definitely, and it's interesting. You mentioned the jungle pool with Amumu and Hecarim. The most prio junglers as of recent have been things like that Jarvan or that Vi, who are both still on the board. So we could very much see that be the direction for these junglers if they want to head that direction. And also, with this 5th pick for Syndicate, you're expecting them to save that for Zard, give him the counter pick into OnlyFans.
Yep. We'll see what the R4 is here then. There's a chance. Obviously, the top laner locked in. Okay, yeah. I'm just worried about the
Mordekaiser.
pool being pinched even further. It does happen sometimes. I was definitely leaning towards the counter pick in the top lane. Um, they are gonna want some engage here from their jungle though on the side of Kaizen, because I mean Mordekaiser not exactly the best engage. Zeri really wants someone to go in and engage to help, you set up space. And Orianna, I mean, you want to, makes sense. So maybe they go with the Wukong here. That's been a very powerful jungler. The Vi, like you mentioned, that is another high prio jungler available for the Pickens if they do so choose.
Yeah, but Kled and Jarvan locked in there for Kaizen. So you were talking about the dive, and it seems like that's actually coming in from Kaizen with the Kled Jarvan itself, relying on Syndra as your sole AP threat. The Syndicate, no, rounding out their draft here with the Sejuani for the jungle. So a bit of tank, bit of engage.
Yep. And that's definitely the sort of hard engage they wanted here. It's definitely a feels bad, man, because there's only one other melee champion on this composition here, being the Mordekaiser in top lane, because usually you like the Sejuani either with a melee support or maybe sometimes with the melee mid laner. That way you can stack up the Frost passive much more easily. It is still doable, mind you, Bickle, but you will notice that extra bit of time it does take.
Definitely will. Makes that CC lockdown from the permafrost a bit less reliable come late game, as only you and Mordekaiser are going to be rocking it. But really, it's going to be what can they get done with the Glacial Prism. It'll be on Verinda to try and make some things happen with a strong ganking jungler in the Sejuani. But that's what Zigify is going to be looking to do too with this Jarvan. Both these junglers are trying to get their laners ahead. They're not the carry threat junglers that you might expect to see possibly something like a Kane, like a Graves, anything like that. They're going full on tank, full on engage, helping out their team.
And it's definitely going to make the early game much more interesting here because there's definitely going to be some action here from these junglers. Like looking at top lane especially, that's a very fight heavy lane. You have Kled who loves forcing fights early and a Mordekaiser who doesn't mind when you hop on top of him early. So there might be a lot of action up there. You got two immobile mages in the mid lane. That might also be a big gank spot. Bot lane, definitely going to be the trickiest of these lanes to gank here, just due to the fact that both these combos in the bot lane might be a little slippery for your chosen engage.
Definitely can be a bit slippery. Spell shield for Sivir, the dash away from Zeri, able to go over walls and take the Yuumi right away with her if she needs to. And really, bot laners are just going to scale up, get to late, do a lot of damage. Top laners are going to abuse the fact that they are both mana-less champions and just going to try and beat the hell out of each other, as we often see in top lane. In mid lane, as you mentioned, two control mages that are kind of immobile but do a lot of damage as they get later. So really, I got to ask you, Gofrino, where are we looking to see action early?
Definitely leaning towards the top side here, because if both junglers do the standard, you start bot to get leashed by your bot lane, and then just path up towards the top, they can look for that early gank up in that top side, where there's definitely going to be fighting between these two laners. I have no doubt in my mind. Mid lane, you look at it, it's like, okay, they're definitely vulnerable, but they're not necessarily going to be at each other's throats early on. They're just going to be kind of feeling each other out with a little 1-2 combo here and there. Top lane, no, there's going to be blood up there.
Yeah, very much the case here. And I gotta ask you, whose comp do you favor here in the end? We've seen them all come together. We know who's going where. We know what the matchups are. You know the teams. Who do you favor in this matchup?
Because, I mean, looking at both these compositions, I do like them both here. They both have very strong team fighting identities, to say the least. Looking at Kaizen's composition, it's definitely much more so team fight orientated, since you have like the triple go button, so to speak. So leaning towards Kaizen a little bit here, especially if they're able to get this top lane snowballing here. A snowballing Kled can really take over that side lane. Then you're just charging into the back line. It'll be very, very hard for Zeri to get away from a Kled dashing on top of her. Leaning towards Kaizen a little bit here, but in terms of compositions here, I'd say it's a pretty close match.
I think it really can go either way based on what these two teams are bringing out. I think I'm going to favor what the side of Syndicate is bringing. I like the fact that you got your mid laner of Lemon Sap onto something he's very comfortable with. He's been a strong carry for this team all around. And Vampiric Narwhal, when on this Zeri, when paired with Helium Bamboo and this Yuumi, is going to be so difficult to shut down come late. We've already seen Zeri be a menace, and I think that's just going to continue to be in this series.
Yeah. I mean, Nerf Speed Am's like... she still just picks so often, bro. Has such an amazing kit for when it comes to comp 5v5, you know? Got some pretty decent lane. Very solid scaling. And I believe we will see that this game, because if you are at least able to dodge out of the Kled jumping on top of you, well, you don't have to worry about a Jarvan, you just hop over that wall. So that might just be what happens later this game.
It really will, but we will have to wait and see. We are about to head into our spectator delay, but once we come back, we'll bring you game number 1 of Event Horizon Kaizen taking on TD Syndicate.
30 seconds until minions spawn. Minions have spawned.
You want to mess with us? Deal with me first.
You're just kidding. In general, you tend to auto attack a lot. So if that lets you just really hard trade here with Zardes, I can see it. Usually you see the conk though. Synergizes pretty well with Kled, but lethal tempo, I can see where they're coming from, and it might just be a rune choice I've not seen before.
Yeah, and if you had any doubt as to how this bot lane is going to end up going, we do see the Cole picked up for Gaming Nerd, meaning that he and Vampiric Narwhal are more than happy to just say, you go there, I go here, we hit minions, nothing happens.
Just gonna be, yeah, farm fest in the bot lane, although one of these gamers in the bot lane does have the cult. We have been seeing that more and more in bot lanes here. Especially when it comes to just passive, well, relatively passive lanes like this, where you're not expected to see like big pre-6 all-ins unless you get something really cheeky. But
While we're stepping up, sidesteps the handshake though out of Narwhal, but there is being traded back and forth. Just running away, not going to burn any summoners, playing it really safe, saying, I know you can't kill me, and that's just about it. But Scatter of the Week comes in mid lane onto Lemon Sap. There's the flag, drag, knock up onto him, forces the flash away out of the Orianna. Meanwhile, topside, we do see Bear Trap on the rope, pulling him in, but there is Death's Grasp, knocking him off of Scarl. Zarde is looking to continue this trade. Lethal Tempo has been stacked, as you mentioned, uses the Pocket Pistol to back away, and gets to the remount off of Scarl, potentially looking to go back in, lands that Bear Trap on a rope, but nothing to come out of it.
Takes a very heavy trade thanks to those minions, Zardes. So keeping OnlyFans in the zone, as we like to say, and those minions just going to be battering away at the Kled. Thankfully for OnlyFans, though, this is one of Kled's biggest strengths when it comes to these all-ins. When you get the remount, it is like you just get a free instant potion in lane.
But it looks like Verinda knows is coming up, has a sweep pop, going to look to get into OnlyFans here, gets the knock up there. Violent Tendency's going to stack, but stunned by the Permafrost. Zardes looking to pull in off Death's Grasp, force out the flash of OnlyFans. Kled now flashless up topside. Meanwhile, Scatter of the Week does land there onto Lemon Sap.
Yep. Oh, and it looks like we are having some audio issues here on stream, so don't worry, dear viewers, while we get that fixed.
We are going to get that fixed for you. But meanwhile, everybody's just very content. First Dragon is going to be spawning in just about a minute. But everybody just content to be farming right now. A bit of action has seen the top and mid laners, different teams blowing their flashes due to early jungle ganks.
Looking bot here, we might see another flash blown from Vampiric Narwhal. Is just going to be a little out of range of that flag and drag though, so Zigify not going to overcommit to that, even though they do have red buff. If you flag and drag in, you might be able to force something, but not worth it.
Exactly. Just playing it safe. Topside though, OnlyFans has to joust away, get away from that burn coming off of Mordekaiser. As bot laners right now, who would have guessed they're farming?
Yeah, there's some cheeky trading back and forth, but this is expected, Not a very hard all-in lane. The only real all-in is going to be at level 6, and then before 6, it's just the hinting. Even then, it's like, okay, here's a boomerang blade. It's like, cool. It's not gonna kill me, so, okay.
Yeah, not a whole lot coming out of it. This dragon has now spawned. We see Zigify in the air. They just want drag in. Nothing too much coming out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's going to be just pretty casual here. Oh, Wower. Not gonna find it there. Looking for another handshake, especially now that you have the hostile takeover. If you catch Helium off of Vampiric Narwhal,
Hold
okay,
on there.
hold that
This
thought.
possible contest coming in onto this red buff here. Taken away in the end by Zigify. The autos are coming out. Cataclysm lands, but there's the shockwave onto Zigify. Flashing
Ooh,
away.
the flash.
Barinna knockback for the Scatter Week will be taken down by the Unleashed Power. OnlyFans is on the
wait.
roam. There's Lemon Sap knockover, but a Flash Obliterate will take down Zigify. Zarde's looking to do work here as the Mordekaiser. Stacked up this Conqueror. Working onto Spat now. Looking to continue the chase. Violent tendencies coming out. Spat will burn down. He's onto OnlyFans
Oh
now.
my
Realm of Death
God.
will come in. He's dismounted. The shield is enough for him to keep going as Zardes is a menace. The raid boss stands as that is 3 kills going over to Zardes.
Oh, that is a 3 for 2 in the top side. What started off a red buff invade, Zigify was able to take the red buff there, was able to help finish off Verindo with the help of Spat moving on up there, but Zardes just untouched in their element, stacks the Conqueror, stacks the Mordekaiser passive, just going to town and clubbing some fools to say the least here. 4-1-0 has all of their team's kills here for the side of Syndicate, so might be a protect the Mordekaiser angle.
Well, if top lane wasn't over now before, it certainly is now. A 4-1 Mordekaiser is absolutely terrifying.
Oh,
Zigify does go in and steal the Herald, though. He may pay for it with his life. The charge is coming in, but you don't want to charge into that.
Yeah.
OnlyFans says charge and then says retreat because you don't want none of a 5-1 Mordekaiser. Zardes is a menace right now on the Rift.
Yeah, I wonder if on this next back they will have Mythic, because the last time they backed was on the 1 kill mark or 2 kill mark. I forget.
It was the 1 kill mark.
That's what I think.
And they
yeah,
currently
so.
have 2.3k gold in the bank.
Okay, yeah. We'll see. I know some Mordekaisers do rush the Rylai's Crystal Scepter because that's such a key item on him. I believe that build is usually the Rylai's into the Jack Show. Can also see the Rylai's into the Riftmaker or just straight up Riftmaker rush. Both pretty damn solid here, especially when you're this far ahead. The world is kind of your oyster, so pick whatever you think will just help you bash in OnlyFans that much more easily.
Yep, really well. Spat rotating down, clearing out vision as Zigify goes into this dragon. Says, okay, we're losing the kill battle, but we can still win the objective battle at this moment. And they're getting themselves this Ocean Dragon, but here comes the rest of TD.
We see
Fight coming in.
steal.
Barinna gets the knock up there onto Spat. There is Narwhal, but he is berserk. He's hitting his own team. Spat may be first on the menu, though, as he will not fall. As there's the Cataclysm to take down Narwhal. Barinda, though, still full health, as that flail and auto is going to be enough to take down the jungler, but it may be traded back. There's the Prowling Projectile. Barinda goes in, gets the knock up on the Gaming Nerd. They're looking to chase down. The exhaust is there, traded back as there is Spat falling. That is jungle 80 carry for jungle mid. In the end, though, 2 for 2. Kill going over to the 80 carry of Gaming Nerd.
2 for 2 in the end there, but second dragon going over here to Kaizen. They're looking to potentially gun for the soul angle this game. We'll appreciate any Cloud Dragons they get, considering they're going to have to run away from a big, scary Mordekaiser. Always great to have that extra move speed. And slow resistance, because we see the Rylai's come through. Either way, though, that was a trade that does favor Kaizen at the very least.
Definitely does right now, and all in all, Kaizen's really happy with the situation they're at.
You know, get 2 kills, get yourself the dragon. Yeah, you got the cold finish off here in Gaming Nerd. Oh,
Lemon Sap
no
nearly falls there. No unleashed power available though, so he will live in the end.
Yeah, unleashed power just coming off cooldown right now by the looks of it, which is tragic. If you're a Spat fan, if you're a Lemon Sage fan, you're a Lemon Sap fan, you are much more happy about that being on cooldown.
And right now, chaos across the map. Wow, we're stepping up, looking to trade a bit of damage onto Vampiric Narwhal as Gaming Nerd throws out that Boomerang Blade. The Zoomies come out just to get a bit of move speed. Not much going on, though, as things work out.
Yep, it's gonna be the big chillin' here in the bot lane. You got this Sever, pretty big, already sitting on that Kraken. Has the Zerkers too.
Hold on,
Is this
there's
a kill in the
Lemon's
mid
hat.
lane?
Zardes looking to continue to chase, has the Rylai's, so this slow is going to be immense now on OnlyFans. They're looking to just trade back auto. Zardes doesn't even care. Pulls him back in with a Death Grasp into the Realm of Death, and he bonks him down. Zardes solo kill topside, as this Mordekaiser is a monster.
Yeah, that's why the Rallies is just so damn good on this champion. Once you get him in range, you hit him with the bonk, hit him with something. You're already playing that Rylai's, you proc the passive, that's constantly procking the Rylai's, and you're just like, damn, I can't escape this. It's like, yeah, you kind of can't there. Ornly fans almost got out of that with the dismount. The timing was just a little off, sadly, for the Death's Grasp. So you still got yoinked back in by that big scary Zardes. Mordekaiser in the end. Give over another kill. 6-1. 6-1.
Yeah, 6-1 on this Mordekaiser, but look at the rest of the map, and the gold lead for that is 1.2k gold to the advantage of Kaizen. The rest of this map is so far ahead. We've got a 30 CS lead on Gaming Nerd right now. We've got a 30 CS, but there's the Flag Dragon, Flash in Handshake. There comes the final chapter, trying to save Narwhal, who dashes back with the Spark Shield, gets locked down by the Cataclysm. Bamboo can only watch as an 80 carry will fall. Not much you can do when everything is burned onto your Zeri.
Yeah, I mean, there's 4 people in the bot lane. Like, yes, this area is slippery. Because we saw the Flash and the little Pikachu dash there, but that is not enough to get out in the end. We saw the Flash handshake from Wower actually coming through. Here's Zardes, gonna get hand shooken back. Handshaked back, hand shooken. I don't know.
Hand shooken, hand shaked, hand something back. Right
Yeah,
now,
because you say, like, when something shakes you, you say you're shooken, I think. But then you also say you shaked it. I don't know. English is weird.
Just a little bit weird.
Yeah.
Right now, Dragon coming up in 50 seconds.
don't
That
get yoinked
would
by that, please.
put the side of Kaizen onto Soul Point if they can grab it. Of course, Cloud Soul, very influential. Move speed is such an important statistic. Gaming Nerd with a move speed boost off their ultimate, already giving move speed, is going to be impossible to chase down. And right now, Mythic's now on the board. We see Gore Drinker on Zigify. We see Ludens on Spat. Kraken Slayer on Gaming Nerd. Immortal Shield Bow there for for Narwhal, but Gaming Nerd going to pop the Spell Shield, be able to walk out of the Death's Grasp.
Yeah, Zardes very comfortably able to 1v2 in this situation. Unsurprisingly. That is a 6-1 Mordekaiser. You know.
And that's only slightly terrifying. 6-1 Mordekaiser really feels like he gets onto anyone on your team, you are just going to absolutely melt.
Yep.
Speaking of onto somebody, there's the Glacial Charisma. Meanwhile, Flash over, Spat, Scatter the Weak, Cataclysm locks down on 2, Lemons Tap and Brynn are in trouble. Narwhal pops with that Yuumi, going to try and ride it out, get those autos out, traded 1-for-1, but Zardes is in trouble. The shutdown's going to come in, and who's it going to? It goes to the Simmer. Even there's massive now. Brynn is being melted as this Kraken Slayer's ripping through the team. Narwhal's the last damage threat available, so looking to come in, has to Spark Surge over the wall, get himself out to safety, and it looks like while the side of Syndicate was looking to burn through the Glacial Prison onto Spat, and Zigify came in to save him, Zardes was getting collapsed on there by OnlyFans, Gaming Nerd, and Wower. And when he gets taken down, the massive shutdown he has goes over to Gaming Nerd. Means this Sivir is going to be impossible to stop.
Yeah, this Sivir is absolutely massive. Massive right now, Vickle. Gaming Nerd can take over the game. We'll still want the QSS tax, mind you, because, you know, even as a 303 super fed Sivir, especially with that shutdown gold, there's still a 6-2 Mordekaiser. If he gets sucked into that Death Realm, you're not having a fun time. Yep, there it is, there it is.
That didn't take long. As soon as you mentioned the QSS tax, it will come online saying, try and lock me down. I dare you. It's not going to work. Has the Spell Shield, has the QSS, wants to make sure that whatever the situation is, they are still ready and raring to fight with those ricochets ripping through the team. Spat and Zard just trying to line up 1v1 into the side lane. But Spat just keeping him at a distance, making sure that Zard can't get onto him and chase him down with the slows off the Rylai's alongside the Darkness Rises.
Let's see. I'll just start it up here. We have Verind over the wall.
And it looks like this could be a 4v5. All the side of Kaizen here. Lemon Sap, though, in the bot lane does have TP available. It is unleashed if they want it. And this is going to be an uncontested Herald going over to Zigify.
And
Hold on, Verinda caught by the Scat of the Week. There's drop down, but it does manage to Arctic Assault over the wall and get out to safety. Pings are coming out, though. They want to force down this mid lane. They want to burn down and open up this map, as the Herald is dropped in this mid lane tier 1 is absolutely forfeit. In fact, the side of Kaizen is going to burn it down before the Herald even has a chance to get here. They want this tier 2 now, as Narwhal is trying to do his best to defend. But meanwhile, on the top side over there, Zardaze is getting burned down. He's being chunked out. Pops the Death Realm onto Gaming Nerd, but there's the QSS tax that you mentioned. Coming over into the backline. There's a big hostile takeover to the backline. Power takes down Narwhal. There's the Cataclysm to take down Zardaze. And Gaming Nerd with that kiting out. It's the pop of the bailout. And Gaming Nerd perfectly okay. Says, Verinda, you're next. As the cat is running, has seen its team fall. Helium, run for your life, as you are a squishy cat. Scat of the Week will land. There is the force of will, and no zoomies will save the Dark Sphere that ends the cat's life.
And that's a 19-minute ace coming out here. And what seems like the blink of an eye, Kaizen just cracked this game open like it's a cold one with the boys here, Bickle, because, I mean, this one's just wide open for Kaizen at this point. You got Soul spawning in 2 minutes. You'll be able to grab that. Baron's up on the table in about 10 seconds. I mean, you got a 5-0 and 6 Sivir. You'll definitely be able to shred through that. The world is your oyster.
Gaming Nerd on this Sivir has a 4K gold lead on Vampiric Narwhal.
Yeah.
That is insane. We are 19 minutes in, and we have over a 7,000 gold.
I also like this build here from Gaming Nerd, because they had the BF sword and pickaxe, and it looked like they're going for the IE second, but now they have the Caulfields here. So they just have the Akataka BF sword there, because that's definitely going to be the Navori. The Navori. It's kind of funny. It does delay the second item here, but you can just see the pure item differential coming out. It's a QSS, it's a BF sword, and it's a Caulfields between these two 80 carries.
That absolutely hurts. We see a 50 CS lead already built up alongside that 5 kills to 1. Gaming Nerd is in such a strong position, but OnlyFans may be caught here as Verinda and Lemons have looking to burn him down. Shockwave will pop in the end, and also burns the Glacial Prison. They just want to get a kill and have something back on the board. The remount comes in. OnlyFans is looking to trade back, forces out the flash of Lemon Sap. He will fall off the mount again, but with that, that means with the jungler bot side, that's Kaizen's call to go for Baron at 21 minutes. Side of Syndicate trying to do something and nothing coming out. Zigify going to secure that 21-minute Baron coming in for Kaizen.
That's a fairly early Baron here. They definitely knew, Syndicate, that was probably happening, and realistically speaking, it was a very hard pill to contest on that one. But, man, Syndicate, they are definitely on the back foot this game right now, to say the least, and they're going to have to weather the storm of this Baron buff here when they just probably don't have the tools to really be dealing with it right now. You got a 1.5 item Zeri, you got an almost 2 item Orianna here. That's not enough wave clear to deal with a Syndra and Sivir just crashing down on in.
It really isn't. Sivir going to be so difficult to deal with. You are not going to be able to get on top of her through a Kled, through a Jarvan, as there's a Renata just able to peel for Spat, force out the flash, but there's a Berserk in the backline, lands onto both Zard and Verinda, takes him down over the wall. Narwhal's trying to come in, pops the lightning crashes, he's trying to kite it out, not away, but taken down by the Scat of the Week. Helium Bamboo is next, he will fall. Lemon Sap, the last man standing, as this Hail Mary play has all gone wrong, as this is now Cloud Soul going the way of Kaizen, who are saying, we got everything we could want. We can end this game whatever the hell we want. Game 1 is ours, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it.
Good lord, yeah, and I mean, Zard, they had such a lead in this game, but in that fight, they just get instantly blown up before the Death Realm comes out here, Bickle. She goes to show just how hard this game has snowballed already. Great googly moogly. That's your inhib being taken down fairly early into the game. You got this bot lane just shoving on in. And it is very kind of go next territory here for Syndicate. You gotta
At
start
this
looking.
point, if you're Syndicate, you're saying, okay, this game went wrong. What do we do next time? Because you ain't coming back into this game, my friend.
Yeah, bar some miracle. Well, a couple miracles at this point because you are 8K in the pot. Even if you do get a huge blowout team fight at this point in the game, you know you'll even it, but you'll still be noticeably on the back foot. Zigify does have to be careful here. Flag and Draco for the wall. Yep, there you go.
Zigify is not worried whatsoever. As now, Navori, as you mentioned, online for Gaming Nerd, working towards that Bloodthirster next. And really, at this point, Kaizen can just face check them and beat them with their wallets. It doesn't matter what happens. You need a miracle fight. You're going to need another Narwhal spoon-fed pentakill on this Zeri. But in all honesty, even that, you're down 11k 24 minutes into the game. Just go next. Just go next.
Yeah, you kind of have to. We'll see. We'll see. We have seen crazier comebacks, of course, and there is a chance that this game does stall out somewhat and help you alleviate this. But usually, when we see the games that do get stalled out, it's usually not a huge blowout lead like this. It's usually like, okay, a pretty sizable lead. I'll hold that thought because we're looking at a flag and drag angle here over the wall by Zigify. Do have to be careful. Zarde still definitely scary, and diving under turret against a Mordekaiser with 6 kills can be tricky.
Just a wee bit. Zardes does have the Yumi with him, but of course, ever since that Yumi update, only does so much with when she is not with her best friend, who in this case is Vampiric Narwhal on that Zeri. So yes, you're going to get some nice shielding, but that's about it off of that Zeri. Zigify and the rest of his squad going to take down this tier 1 turret topside, sorry, tier 2, and just keep shoving in. And really, what do you do if you're Syndicate? Like, you need a Hail Mary of all Hail Marys to try and make something happen. But even then, Kaizen's not giving it to you. They're going to group up as 5 with this wave and look to push in. And Elder's up in 3 minutes. Baron's up in 2. Kaizen has position on whatever the hell they want right now.
Yeah, I mean, potentially they don't even need that because you got these supers pushing in the mid wave here. If you take one good fight right here, you might just be able to end the game outright. And see though, Syndicate, they are at least
positioned the week. Dunks out Zardes to about half health, despite the fact that he is even building tank with that Jack shows. But right now, it looks like Kaizen rotating to this bot side. They want the bot tier 3 inhibitor tower. They want this inhibitor. This is the fight. They will just looking to push up in the yield, but it looks like Verinda going in gets the knock up on the Zigify as Narwhal's throwing out these autos. Lock.
Oh, that's a big
there.
stun.
Shockwave catches onto 4. That could be the big thing. The engage is coming in. There's Narwhal. That's the other castle trying to auto through, but a big berserk over the backline. Verinda will fall, and that may just be it here as he is locked down. Narwhal will fall next. That's the hope of TD has fallen. OnlyFans in the death room will be traded down as he will fall. Zarda is looking to get something back. Spat flashes away. Pops the mastery emote as it's just a little kitty and a robot left to defend the base. The ball comes out, but there's no shockwave here as it looks like the side of Kaizen is trying to end the game.
Yeah, 27-minute game end here. We even see the teleport come out to keep this minion alive. I mean, Lemon Sap, they're trying their damnedest here, Bickle, but you kind of know what the deal is. You're not stopping this. This is right now an unstoppable onslaught coming out here from Kaizen, who take a very definitive game number 1. But looked a little rocky at the beginning because they were in a slight kill deficit. And there was just such a huge board guys in the top for Zard. They're able to just play the objective game.
Kaizen that was able to collapse in on him during that bot dragon fight and get the shutdown over to Gaming Nerd and make it so that their advantage became Kaizen's advantage. And really, Kaizen just had control of this game the entire time.
Yeah, especially in the objective area, they just had a complete lockdown on those. I don't think Syndicate got a turret this game. I might be wrong. I can't quite remember, but either way, it's as an absolute objective chokehold coming out. Every dragon, every herald, every baron going over to the side of Kaizen, and that just gives them so much extra stats, so much extra money to play with here, Beckel. That really helped them snowball.
Definitely did. And in all honesty, what do you do if you're the side of TD Syndicate? You just had Gaming Nerd demolish your entire team with this sim. What's your draft strategy adaptation? Do you go to blue side and try and take something away extra? Do you swap up your ban phase? What do you do heading into the next round?
Definitely a lot of what I want to see is more on a macro level. Those objectives really added up, so better macro early to contest those objectives, get some for yourself. Maybe also just trying to take away some high prio ganking junglers, because we saw quite a few ganks come out from Zigify, to say the least, especially once they got that Cataclysm, maybe putting them on a more of a farm jungler where they can't do as much to influence the map, because we saw that bot lane get out of control pretty quickly once those ganks started up.
Definitely did, but we will have to wait and see exactly what the pivot is from the side of TD Syndicate, what Kaizen plans to keep doing. But before we can figure that out, we are going to head to a quick break while we get draft set up and the lobby set up for game number 2 of Kaizen taking on Syndicate.